When it comes to gaming, one of the most important things for me always will be the way the controller feels when I'm playing the games and whether or not it's comfortable for long periods of time. For a few years now, I've used 8BitDo's Ultimate wireless controller that I purchased with my own money back in the day, and I've loved that controller. To this day, it has been great. It has Hall effect joysticks, so I've never had any issues with joystick drifting or anything like that. It's been a wonderful controller, and one thing I really loved about it was the included dock with it to be able to go ahead and charge it without having to plug in a USB cable to it every single time. So it was nice when I would finish gaming that I could just pop it back on the dock and it's always charged and ready to go for the next gaming session. So I was very happy to know that 8BitDo wanted to go ahead and send me the Ultimate 2 controller for review and to talk about it with you guys and to give you my honest opinion. Now I do want to let you know they did send me the controller for review, but the opinions that I'm sharing on this video are my own. They're not seeing this video before it goes live, and they have not given me anything to talk about specifically aside from just letting them know what I think of the controller through this video here. So what you're seeing is what they're seeing. Now, when I took the controller out of the box, the first thing I immediately noticed was that, well, it's almost identical to the original Ultimate controller with a few little differences here and there. A lot of the button placements on the front are in different spots and a little bit more spread out. But then after about an hour or so of playing a game with this controller versus the original Ultimate, I started to notice there were some differences. The controller does feel a little bit lighter, but not to the point where it feels cheap in any way. It just still has a nice texture to the controller overall, and the way the buttons are placed and everything feels really nice. One thing they've also done is they've switched from a standard USB-A for the 2.4 gigahertz adapter to a USB-C one. Initially, this was a downside for me only because my computer unfortunately doesn't have any USB-C ports on it. Yes, it's still rocking USB-A this whole time. I haven't upgraded it to include any USB-C ports. So what I had to do was get a small USB-C to USB-A adapter, which still works great, and it still works when I connect it to my computer. Now, this controller is compatible with the Switch 1, the Switch 2 after you do a firmware upgrade on the computer, and also your Windows PC. Now, the great thing I love about it is that it is Bluetooth as well as 2.4 gigahertz connection. And what's really great about the dock is that underneath it houses a area where you can store the USB-C adapter. Now, one will say that, 2.4 gigahertz is a lower latency, of course, than Bluetooth, but if you do want to go ahead and go the Bluetooth route, you would pair it the same way you would pair the Switch Pro controller, so you'll have those options as well if you don't want to use the dock or the USB adapter for it. Now, it does have something called Hall effect triggers and mode switching. What that does is it lets you change the little switches on the back of the controller and let you go ahead and get a quick response to the triggers or a slower response on them. Obviously, that's going to depend on what you're playing. Maybe something that uses like the ZR and ZL for quicker responses, you're going to want a tighter grip on it. And I don't like to get super technical on these reviews all the time because sometimes you can just go look up all that stuff on your own. But it does say that for the first time it has something called TMR joysticks. Now it says that it offers like a higher sensitivity, greater precision, and enhanced durability on them. I'm just reading that directly from their website. Overall, the joysticks have felt pretty similar to the original Ultimate controller, but of course I'm sure there's some difference there that I myself have not noticed. This one also does have RGB lighting on the joysticks that you can turn off. You can customize it to do different lighting and stuff like that, and if you install the software on your computer and you have the controller connected, especially to update the firmware, which I highly recommend if you're going to be using it for the Switch 2, but overall, update your firmware and make sure it's running the latest. But you can go ahead and make all kinds of adjustments through the software on there on how you want the controller to feel, different button mapping configurations, all those kind of options you can go ahead and do. As an owner of two corgis, one that's still a pup and one that's in his golden years, I always find it important to make sure that they have the nutrients and necessary vitamins for their lives. Corgis are known for having issues with hip dysplasia and just overall back problems because of their size. So I was happy to partner with Bernie's in getting some awesome chews for my two corgis to make sure that they have the necessary nutrients and vitamins. I love their omega-3s that are great for them, also for their hips and just overall mobility. Ever since I've been giving it to them, I've noticed a change in Zeus and the way he runs, the way he goes up and down steps, and overall his mobility has improved a lot. If you guys have dogs, I highly recommend checking out Bernie's because honestly their vitamins have been really great for these dogs, and their coats overall have really improved as well. So if you want to take care of your pets, make sure to go ahead and check out the link below to get them the necessary vitamins and nutrients they need. And I know they will appreciate it just as much as Harley does here. She's a little camera shy though, so please forgive her. Isn't that right, Harley? Check out the link in the description below, guys, for Bernie's vitamins and multi-chews. Thank you. Now, the button layout is for the Switch, so it does have B in place of A. So if you are planning on using it for a Windows PC, if you're someone that has to look down at the controller every now and again to look at the buttons, that might throw you off a little bit. I've kind of adjusted to it that I've been okay. It doesn't really bother me. So whenever I'm playing games on my PC, I kind of have it in my head that B is A and such and so forth. So that can bother some people if there's someone that has to kind of look down at the controller for certain button presses or stuff like that. It can happen, but it hasn't been a problem for me. And again, while some of these videos start to sound like you're just reading off of specs and configurations that they have on their site, ultimately, pun intended, the controller is actually very comfortable to use. I use it for anything that I'm playing on my Switch 2 or on my PC. It's my go-to controller for those options. Same way the original Ultimate was. I mean, I had that one and I kind of just put it in its box because I'm not going to be using it now that I have this version. And I do enjoy the upgrades that they've made from the original controller to this one. So I think I would honestly recommend this controller for someone that is looking for something that is going to be great for their Switch and also for their PC. I play most of my games at my desk here, and I have a TV here, so anytime I need to turn to the side, I can just take my controller and immediately start playing a game. So it's nice that I can have it set up here at my desk for when I'm playing Switch games, or I want to go ahead and switch over to playing on my PC. The battery life has been great so far. I mean, I don't play long gaming sessions anymore. For the most part, I'm maybe playing 30 minutes to an hour, so I've never really had a problem or had to deal with a low battery. But again, the great thing with this controller setup is the dock. That dock is awesome. It lights up on the bottom as it's charging and the light turns off when it's completely done. And you just never run out of juice that way, because when you're done playing, you immediately just set it on the dock and it's good to go for the next session. If we take a look at the controller here on the back, it does have 2 programmable buttons that you can go ahead and set through the software, and also you can do it directly on the controller if you're pressing the correct button configuration to set that up. And then, as mentioned, it has the 2 switches to go ahead and adjust the ZL and ZR buttons in the way that they're pressed down. Overall, it's a really good controller, guys. Like I said, if you want to use it for Bluetooth, you can go ahead and use it that way by switching it on the back, or the 2.4 gigahertz connection, which is usually what I have it as because I want as low latency as possible when I'm playing my games. Like I said, I use this controller all the time for everything that I'm playing, whether I'm playing, you know, emulators on my PC or I'm just playing on my Switch 2. It's perfect for all of those things, and it just works really well. And I haven't had any issues with the old controller, and it lasted forever, and it still works. It's just in a box now because I don't need the old one. But I want to go ahead and thank 8BitDo for sending me this controller for review. Like I said, they're not seeing this before it goes live. This is just me giving you my honest opinion and talking to you a little bit about the facts of the controller and what it has, and whether or not it's a worthy upgrade for you to go ahead and do. They have a bunch of different controller options out there for people if you don't want something with a dock. If you want one of their smaller controllers, or like the 2C, which doesn't have all of the additional options. So there's many things out there. Go ahead and take a look at them, guys. If you want to check out their site, I'll have a link below in the description to check out the Ultimate 2 controller for yourself, and if you want to go ahead and get that purchase. I've been Rudy with the Retro Universe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, guys. Bye.